All right, what is up, traders? Hope everybody's doing well. I'm going to be going over a very hard and rough win today that took over an hour to reach, or for me to close the position. It didn't even reach full take profit, which is the most annoying part. Um, and it reached full take profit later on. So let's get straight into it. Bias coming into the day was bearish. I don't know why most people were bullish. I saw on YouTube after the session was done that most people, for some reason, were just bullish, not bearish. I don't know. It's maybe the people that I saw, but majority of people were um, bullish. Now I was bearish. You can see here if we go to Discord. Um, so bearish for me today. A lot of sell side to target. So we had London lows of uh, the past 2 days were equal London lows to target right there, and then we had London lows of today. That was just a lot of trailing sell side. So for me, it was just um, logical to target buy side, sell side. Sorry. So um, what I was anticipating was a draw lower at least to today's London lows, right at the bare minimum, which is what happened eventually. But after I got stopped out in profit um, on this position, which I'm going to go over, that took me over an hour to close. So before I get into it, this was a position where initially on the first macro I was going to enter short here, but I didn't because I was going to do something like this initially. I target the London lows, but I didn't because we had taken some sort of sell side, which is also data lows, very important at this point. So I wanted to wait for extra confirmation here, and I'm very glad that I did so. Um, and I didn't end up taking this trade because if I did, it would have been a loser. So I was waiting at this point. I was waiting for some sort of buy side sweep of these highs, which did happen. And then after that, a break of structure to the downside to target the lows, which also did happen, but it was just a disgusting one lower. So let's go over um, the uh, let's go over the trade. So again, this is over an hour of a trade. It's split into two because my computer shut. The screen went to sleep mode because I was literally just not touching the screen at all. So here, this was the first impulse move lower during the second macro towards the end, and I didn't enter this simply because of I wasn't confident or too confident with the first break of structure, especially because of how we closed on this up close candle. If we closed lower, as of saying all down close candles, I would have been more confident to treat this as a breakaway gap and then just enter right there, right? But I didn't, and I want to wait for to see more confirmation, which unfortunately price just dumped, and that confirmation came a bit too low. So I did get a not a discount entry, but it was a pretty low entry compared to where I wanted to enter initially, right? So here you can see I'm waiting for any sort of retracement for me to enter shorts, and I just don't get it at this point. If we get it later on, I end up entering somewhere around here, and then we push lower. So you see this crazy move lower, which is just ridiculous. Speed that up. I'm here kind of waiting for any sort of retracement for me to enter shorts, and it's just going without me. Up until now, again, staying patient, not FOMOing and not really um, chasing price, waiting for a logical entry no matter what. So here we can see, let me speed it up a little bit. So here we get a retracement. Now, I didn't mind entering this short even after we tapped into the 930 value gap simply because of such a high draw lower and so much trailing sell side lower that there was absolutely no reason in my eyes for price to go higher. That's why I was kind of shook. Or I mean, trading is subjective, but that's I was kind of yeah, I was kind of shook with how people were just bullish and not bearish today with all that sell side. So yeah, waiting for myself to get. So what I'm doing here is just waiting for ES or NQ to tap into that fair value gap for me to enter part of my position. So I end up entering three here. So ES taps into that fair value gap right now in a second, and as soon as ES taps, I enter part on my position, which is a partial of my position, into the trade. So I enter there, right there, and then I say, all right, if we tap into the fair value gap on NQ, I'll enter the rest of my position. All right. So my full TP is at the London lows of this current day, which in my eyes, I see that price is probably going to push way lower, right? So here I'm kind of waiting for us to see if we can tap into that gap higher, and then I just eyeball it, and then I scale in one more right there. All right, so let's speed it up, speed it up, speed it up, speed it up. So now here still, right, macro is still not over. If macro well, macro ends right now, and if macro didn't end and we were still in macro, I want to scale in, but because macro is over, one of my big rules is just if I'm in a position post macro to not scale in after macro is over, right? Because it's just lower probability. So I'm just going to speed it up because this is just, it takes forever to move. And so here we get an impulse at random times. Again, this is how price has just been lately. I don't know, it's just been disgusting. Moving random with no real like confirmation at random times for nothing. I just hope that price cleans up sooner than later. So here I'm just at this point just watching price basically do nothing for a long time, and then here my first recording cuts, and then we go to the second recording. So get rid of this. This is the second recording I record. I get back on recording instantly. So the first video was 30 minutes, 30 something minutes, and this is 46. So you can see how long this session was, man. And there was other recordings as well in the morning, the first AM macro, which I'm not going to show obviously because I did nothing. I was just watching. Price just did nothing, literally. So yeah, I'm going to speed it up because this is the boring part. Just so here all I'm doing is measuring midpoint of the 15-minute wick, and I want to see the 15-minute candle close below it to show strength. Here I'm moving to break even because at this point there's no reason for me to hold on to risk. If we're going to come back up and push and take out this buy side, I might as well just hold and wait for another entry because now we're in the third AM macro, right? Just mark out constant encroachment of the 15-minute wick, and kind of seeing how price is going to react around it, which we can see in a bit. It does actually respect it after we get lower here. I think we push up one more time if I'm not mistaken, and then so you see me here, I'm trailing my stop loss to this high, but it's like $83, just nothing. And I've been in this trade already for like an hour, so I'm just like I think I move it back to break even because it's just not worth it for me. It's like all or nothing, literally. So here we push back up to constant encouragement. Here I move my stop loss back to break even because again, it's just not worth it for me to lose potential more profits just for $83, especially after how long I've been in this trade. Here I'm just showing how disgusted I am of this price action, and I'm very glad that I did actually put my stop loss here because I do believe we come back up one more time and take out these double highs and then we roll lower. So yeah, so you see how close we got to my stop loss. I'm very glad that I moved back my stop to break even. And there's also a reason why I also moved it back to break even, other than the money wise, is other than $84 is not worth it. The second reason is looking at how price action is, you have to give it a little bit more room. That's also a very important point is price action is just not moving nicely right now, so you need to give it more room to breathe, and that's also mainly why I moved it back to break even. And if I had my entry even higher, I would have still had my stop loss at break even higher because you want to give it that much room, as long as it's logical, obviously, when you're in these conditions. So here we start to push lower again. We take out that, you can call it turtle soup, whatever. Take out this high, start to push lower during macro as well. And then you see back, we push back up higher. At this point, we're respecting that 15-minute wick. On the 15-minute, we never close above that wick. We always respect it. And then we push lower, lower, lower. At this point, move it to consequent encroachment of that wick. But I do believe I moved back to break even because it's just not worth it for me to miss out on $1,200 just for $173, especially after how long I've been in this trade. So marking out the first sell side level on ES. Still price doesn't sweep. And then so here at this point, you see me, I move my stop loss to this structure, but then I move it all the way back to break even because I'm just that frustrated with price. I'm like, I'm not about to get stopped out in profit and then price to roll out without me. I want to get as much juice out of this as possible, or I'm out for zero. Like I'm literally that disgusted with the price. Like I can't see how price will push back all the way up higher without at least taking this low. So as soon as ES takes this low, you'll see me, I trim my stop loss to the most recent high, and that's where I get stopped out, because that is now where it is logical for me to trim my stop loss, and it would be illogical for me to keep my stop loss at break even because now we've taken some sort of sell side. Before then, like up until now, we haven't really taken any major sell side in my eyes, right? This is the first major sell side that we've taken or we sweep. As soon as we sweep that, that's when I move my stop loss to the most recent high, which is here, which is about $500. That's where I get stopped out. So I don't think you can see the amount of money I'm up, but I get stopped out for $500 profit, basically. So here you'll see me kind of, so here I trail my stop loss at the high, and that is where I get stopped out for my final position. You'll see here in a bit, I get stopped out right there. Boom. And then if we go back to the chart, you'll see how we had a beautiful setup that happened in the PM session. Clear SMT, break of structure to the downside, macro hits. We tap the 930 value gap as soon as the macro hits. Look at this on ES. We tap the fair value gap on NQ. Now, me being me, I would have not entered this trade initially right there because of this up close candle. I don't like seeing a fair value gap like this. So I would have waited for confirmation to at least just price tap into this fair value gap and show us respecting it. So I would have entered, this is me being honest, I would have entered off of this close right here. So I would have entered anywhere on this candle, the second candle, because this one tapped into it and then respected it. So I would have entered anywhere here, stop loss above this high or above the 930 value gap, and then I would have targeted the London lows, which price just dumped. So yeah, I saw this after because I hit my take profit, whether it's a full TP or not. I hit my take profit, I should be done. So I didn't even watch the charts at this point, but yeah, that was unfortunate. And let me see, I don't think, so my draw for tomorrow is still lower. Like this, I don't think this is going to be just left there and then we go to all-time highs. I just don't see that happening. So until this is swept, I am bearish. So yeah, that's going to be it. Hope you guys found this insightful. This was definitely the hardest trade I think I have ever taken so far in my trading career. So, and I've been trading for a pretty long time now. So yeah, that's going to be it. Hope you guys found that insightful. If you want free Discord, link for that is in the description. I post my analysis on NQ for free, pre-session every single day. My bias for free on NQ every single day. So if you want to tune in and watch that or join, feel free to do so. Link for that is in the description. Also, if you're interested in private mentorship, one-on-one private mentorship for trading, link for that is also in the description. All right, peace out.